my name is Rebecca Sackett. I was going to do a quick video on how to show and hide different items within a screen. That way you can put a lot more information on one screen and you're not having to send them to different screens for the same information that's going to the same data source. I use this a lot for checklists, that type of thing, but you could do it for anything that you've got quite a bit of data and you only want to show a little bit at a time. So I've just got a basic screen here set up with a gallery. This is actually going to have a different data source than the form that we're going to put in. And we're just going to do a real simple one. And once you get the concept, you're like, oh my gosh, this is so easy. Because it really is real simple. So let's see. So I'm going to make this my checklist, and this one is the equipment list I made for this. I'm just going to do one column, and this will actually be a new form each time. Probably only going to do like maybe 5 questions so we can keep it easy. So we need to go through here and decide which ones we're going to keep. So we'll have to keep the title. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good enough. All right, so let's go ahead and delete everything else. Yeah, I want to keep that. I don't want the attachments. Don't really care what the status is right now. And I do want to keep this one, the inspector. It's basically the person who's filling it out. But since it's a new form, and it's going to a SharePoint list, that's actually automatically stored. It's whoever created the item. So I actually don't need that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, one more and we're good. All right, good enough. So we're just gonna start with all of the cards. I usually just go through and unlock them first. That doesn't matter, it's just personal preference. Okay, so this title is going to be required. They'll always have to use it. But what I'm going to do is actually make it what's pulling from here. So it doesn't have to be visible. So that won't be part of our thing because it'll never be visible. So when they click on this button, this is setting the variable of what the title is from this, which is my selected unit. So what I'm going to make this title is that var selected unit, which is the variable I created. So it's whatever I selected in the gallery. So then after that, we can just make this one hidden because we don't need to see it. Okay, we're going to do one more custom card that is going to have our go forward and go backwards, next and back buttons in it. And then here, I'm going to, let's make that have a fill back of 1 white because that's the same as this, and we're going to make enough room here to put in a submit button outside the form. And we're going to set a few rules with that too. So submit checklist. Sure, why not? Okay. So I think that form can go a little bit longer. All right, so we're going to start at the bottom and work our way up. Here we're going to put in 2 icons, one that's for next and one that's for going back. So next, I'll put it here. I'm not going to go all out trying to get everything aligned just right like I normally would. Keep in mind that whenever we get done that you won't see the scroll bar, so a few things will change because of that. So where this might look like it can't go any further, it really actually could to match the other. Okay, so now we're going to work on, let's see, this is 64, so let's make that card about 80. Oh, what did I do? Try to get 80. What's in there? Oh, okay, good tip. Because I have these aligned at the bottom, it won't let me bring the height up. I actually have to bring those up to the top, which I often forget about. Okay, so now this one is 80. The card height should be, yep. So we're going to look at the form height, which is 483. And so that means if the whole thing is 483 and that one card is 80, that means we have 403 that we can use elsewhere. So what we're going to do is go through and make each of these cards that height, because I'm only going to want to see one of these at a time. And that way it fits in the right amount of space. So we're going through each of those. We just kept 5 questions here. Okay. Then for each of the cards, I go through and delete. Oh, I actually want to keep the star. Let's keep that. Delete the error on each of those. Okay. And I'm just going to change this text for now to say question 1. That way I don't have to try to do anything too complicated with it. Okay, this one would be question 2. This one is question 3. And then we're going to also change those text box to radio buttons. My SharePoint list is storing it as a text field, but I really like using radio buttons and stuff like this. Especially if it's going to be done from a tablet, iPad, anything of that sort. They're really easy to click on, and radio buttons have a lot less extra stuff that you don't have to do that that the checkbox has, like resetting it, stuff like that. The checkbox, let's say you only want one answer, you have to make it where when you click one that it makes all the other ones false, all that kind of stuff. A radio button is always going to be only let you have one answer, so it works out really good. So I just deleted that text input, and I'm going to go ahead and insert a radio button in here, and then we just go to the items and we're going to tell what our choices are going to be. So I want my choices to be yes, no, NA, and factory. That works for me. Give it a little drag. If you want it to go this way, you would actually just change the layout. I do that pretty often depending on what the device it's going to be used on. And I also normally take the border off, and that's just a personal preference. It, for some reason, annoys me. I'm actually going to do that. I'm just going to change it to none. Okay. And then what we need to do on this card is make the update change to that radio button since we took out the text input. So it's going to be radio 2.selected.value. All right. And so this is a 3058. Let's just keep that across on all these. So we're going to make a copy, delete, paste, 3058. We'll do the update in a minute. Delete, paste, 3058. Delete, paste, 3058. Dang, I just thought of something I forgot on the radio button. We'll do it in a minute. Oh, it won't matter. Whenever you have to keep in mind too on the radio button, if you're replacing it with a text input, that if it were not a new form, if it was an edit form, that I also would need to select the default value of the radio button to parent.default. Otherwise it won't carry through. But ours is a new form, so we don't have to do that. Alright, so this one is radio 1 dash, what are we on, 3? 4 dot selected dot value. What did I do wrong? Oh, radio 2. Yeah, make sure the little green line shows up, that way we know we're on the right one. Okay, update on this one, it's going to be radio 2.3. Okay, question 3, update, radio 2.2. And radio 4, to 1. And all right. Okay, so what I do is, so we have 5 questions, and that's all right now. So what we're going to do is start with the on visible. That's usually where I start. I just have my input reset for my search box here. We're going to do update context, and then show question 1. You can call this whatever you want. This is what I'm choosing. Show question 2 false. So basically, every time I come to this screen, I want you to show question 1 and hide all the rest. Show question 3 false. Show question 4 false, and show question 5 false. Okay, so that gives us the on visible, and then sometimes what I do is go away and come back so that I can go ahead and put that in place. But I don't think I'm going to do that right now. Let's just go ahead and put the show on each of these, and then we'll do that after that. So I'm on question 5, and I'm going to the visible property, and I'm going to make it show question 5. Oh, well, I guess I picked it up anyway. Question 4, visible properties. Let me show question 4. And then question 3, you get the idea. Question 2. And question 1. All right. So now we will go away and come back so we can make it show that question 1. Okay. So then the rest of it is going to be getting these set. Oh, let's just, I guess I should have gave it a little wiggle room. So I don't like seeing that scroll bar. So we're just going to drag it just a tiny bit, and then we're good. All right. Normally I go all out, measure, figure out everything so I can get these lined out, but I'm not doing that today. So what I do on these is, if I'm on question 1, then this one has no purpose. So I either make it not visible or I make it disabled because it can't go back. So you can pick either one. I'm going to say, I'm just going to do it on the visible right now. So visible, as long as it is not show question 1. So visible for any of the questions above question 1. And this one will do the opposite. So visible unless it's show question 5. Not show question 5. All right, and then now we're going to do the on select. And this one is going to be similar to how we did that on the front, but it's going to have a little bit of if statement in here. So if I'm on show question 1, when I click this, I want it to update context, and I want it to show question 1 false, and then show question 2 true. So if I'm on question 1, I want you to hide question 1 when I click you, and I want you to show question 2. So basically we're going to do the same thing each of those. And yes, I am going to copy and paste, and then just change stuff. 2, 3, and 4. That's it. Why is that like that? Oh, it drives me nuts when stuff doesn't line up. Alright, so this one is going to be 2, show 3. This one is if I'm on question 3, then I want you to hide 3 when you click on me and take me to 4. And this one is if I'm on question 4, I want you to hide 4 and take me to 5. We're not going to do 5 because, well, it's not visible if you're on question 5, so don't need that. So then just one more close to close our if statement. And now whenever we go through and click, we're going through the questions one at a time. And then the back button will just be the opposite, basically. So if I'm on question 5, take me to 4. If I'm on question 4, take me to 3, and so on. I'm not going to do that. You can get the idea. I am going to show you one that I've finished that does a lot of the showing and hiding, just to give you an idea. So this one is going to be one that we're going to put in place when I get finished for doing employee reviews at the end of the year. So obviously I wouldn't do my own. I'd give myself a really good score. It goes through and it pulls. So this is all questions. It gives it a score off of the answer. This was paper and now we moved it to here, but other than that, it's really not a new process of any sort. It's calculating the score off of these, and these stars are lining up off of what I pick. So this is 1, 2, 3. You get the idea. And then, so every time I click, I'm going to the next question. And then I have this section that takes you to the final review that lets you see all of it in one place. So if I were to save and come back, I could see where I started. And then I can go to the first question I missed and start right back up. And so just to show you that this is all just one form, and everything's just kind of showing and hiding off of what I click off of these. These I have the buttons back and next outside the form, but it really didn't matter. And then this, I just put a slider to show like a progression bar. So you can see the visible on this one is show question 1, this one is show question 2, etc. And then on the in the review section, when they click on that pencil here that says go edit it, what it does is it shows review, which is this, false, and takes me to question 1, and this one would show review false and take me to question 2, and so on. Even this actually is inside of my form. I did it the first time with HTML, but I just honestly I thought it was a little more work, so now this is just all inside one card with just data that's looking to see what the radio button value is. So it's just looking at the other areas of the form. But anyway, so yeah, this is just one example. This one actually on one of the other screens even goes as far as to it has a card for the signature, so they can do it all at one time and it puts it in a final document. So anyway, I just wanted to show you one other example of how I use this features. Thanks.